All right, welcome to my coffee enema Q&A video. I'm excited to have you here, and I'm ready to share with you everything that's inside this video. Now, before we start, there's a quick warning. No claims are made for any procedures described in this video, nor are these procedures intended as treatments or prescriptions for any disease or condition. The following video is presented for educational purposes only, so please carry out your own due diligence regarding coffee enemas. Question number 1. Why are coffee enemas recommended? And are they mandatory? No, they are not at all mandatory. They are totally optional. And I highly recommend them, though, because I find that they are great at cleaning me out. They help with constipation, detoxification, and a whole lot of other benefits listed in another video, which you'll find in the description of this video below. Now, next question, how often can I do a coffee enema? Well, how often depends on how much coffee you use. If you're using from a quarter teaspoon up to 3 tablespoons of coffee grinds, then once daily should suffice. Once 1 month minimum duration for optimal results, though, like anything else. And once a week works too, because it's better than nothing. Now, many people have done coffee enemas for several years, and if you Google it, some cancer patients have been recorded as doing up to 6 enemas per day to help rid their body of toxins. So in the end, you'll have to make do your own due diligence and make your own decision about how long you plan on using coffee enemas. Next question. If I decide to do more than 1 enema in a day, then how soon after the first one can I do the second? Well, 2 hours in between works fine from what I have found. I've even seen some being done within an hour of the first, not on a regular basis though. There's nothing written in stone. Let your body lead you. Always do your own due diligence. If you desire to do more than 3 a day, I would just say, hey, get some professional advice. Now, next question. How can you tell that the coffee enema worked? The main goal of a coffee enema is cleansing the liver first and cleaning the large intestine colon second. So we must first understand the process. Your liver dumps toxins into the small intestine or out through the urine via the blood. For the most part, you won't be able to tell that this has happened. However, there are some positive effects that can be a sign that it's working. Some people have said that they feel less of a headache or that they have more energy. Some have also said that they don't feel great afterwards, and this is no doubt linked to toxin dumps from various storage sites in the body. You can even feel cold symptoms afterwards, depending on what toxins are coming out. Keep in mind that some have felt nauseous and it has passed. If it didn't pass, then they took 2 charcoal capsules or something similar to absorb the toxins and ease the nausea. Now, don't worry, coffee enemas can also help clean out the large intestine and colon, so you may find relief when doing them if you often experience constipation. Now, you can always do a water enema first to assist in the release of fecal matter before you do a coffee enema. And if you're doing multiple coffee enemas a day, then just wait until you do another coffee enema, or the next day you plan on doing a coffee enema before you do a water enema. So space it out, but there's a lot of options there and a lot of things that that are positive effects, positive signs that the coffee enema is working for you. Next question. Can a coffee enema cause me to feel strange? Now, as I just mentioned, yes, but from what I've found in experience, few feel anything other than the need to have a bowel movement. Now, those who have felt strange reported cold symptoms, like a runny nose, feeling angry, loss of energy, lightheadedness, headache, feeling cold, having another bowel movement later that day, or anxiety. All of these have been found to require no further attention other than waiting for them to pass and adjusting their enema process next time round. That's the key, adjusting their enema process next time round. So if you do feel strange after an enema and you want to try and do something to relieve it, start by adjusting the amount of coffee grinds that you use in the preparation of your enema. Remember, a quarter teaspoon up to 3 tablespoons. Others have changed up when during the day they do the enema and changed to doing the enema after a meal rather than on an empty stomach. Some have also eaten after an enema to help with feeling strange, feeling lightheaded, low blood sugar sort of thing. Lastly, others have done another coffee enema right after the first to help bring relief. It is believed that feeling strange after the first enema may have been caused by the pulling out of toxins, and not all the toxins were removed from the body after the first enema. All right, next question. I would like to add probiotics to the coffee. Is that a problem? Yes, it is a problem. Don't do it. It is not needed, and more than likely it's something that shouldn't go inside your body in this manner. Next question. I have not had my own natural bowel movement for a while after a coffee enema. Is that normal? Well, yes, a coffee enema can typically cause a delay in normal bowel movement, and the reason is because the coffee enema is flushing out any material currently in the end segments of your large intestine. So it could take a day, maybe a few after a coffee enema, to build up enough fecal matter to have another bowel movement. So you can see where I'm going. Daily enemas can lead to no normal bowel movements. This is fine. Coffee enemas won't negatively affect your digestive process. The great thing about coffee enemas is that they stimulate the production of bile in your liver, which helps in digestion. Keep in mind the liver is one of the most vital digestion organs. They also detoxify your body, and as a result, this helps strengthen your liver. So coffee enemas can tone your bowel, helping your normal bowel movements. Next question. If I have my period, do I have to wait until it's over before doing a coffee enema? Yes, you absolutely can do an enema while menstruating. Now, carry out the enema as you normally would. Some women have reported that their coffee enemas have actually helped their menstrual symptoms. So you can decide whether or not you want to carry forth with that. Next question. I like the results I see with an enema. Is it okay for my child to do one? Yes and no. Only if a parent helps and the age of the child is important. Coffee enemas aren't usually necessary for kids, so there should be a very, very important, let me say it again, very, very important and valid reason to do one. Consult with a professional before you take steps in that direction. Next question. Where is the best place to buy an enema container? Well, many local stores sell enema containers, buckets, or bags. Essentially, you want one you can use over and over again. That's the key. A lot of people are buying enema containers online. You can visit this website to browse their selection. Next question. Should coffee enemas be done on a full or empty stomach? Any time works. See how you feel afterwards and adjust accordingly. Next question. How do I put together an enema container? Look in the video description below for a link to an assembly video. Next question. When it comes to coffee filters, which is best to use? The main issue we're trying to avoid is a clogged enema tube. That's the key. So in order to avoid that, we use a filter. A reusable coffee maker filter works, but if it is paper, look for unbleached ones. Reusable filters can be washed and reused, which is convenient. If you won't be using a coffee pot to make the coffee liquid, you can still use a coffee pot filter or just use a strainer. Next question. Is it okay to use tap water for the coffee enema? No tap water. Reverse osmosis, filtered, distilled, or spring water is okay. Tap water can contain toxins, things in it that you don't want going in your body. And mainstream filters you attach to your sink or filtered pitchers, etc., can work. Filters like Brita will work. Next question. How much water should I use for my coffee enema? 2 cups of total coffee liquid is recommended. You can certainly do less and work up to 2 cups if you have trouble holding on. Going beyond 2 cups has some warnings accompanying with it that you should be aware of, and I'll address those in another question. What's the issue? And in terms of addressing it in another question, here's the question. What's the issue with a limit of 2 cups of coffee liquid for a coffee enema? Well, the answer to this question lies in the very purpose of a coffee enema. The main purpose of a coffee enema is to implant coffee within your bowels. In turn, it's absorbed through the wall of the large intestine and transported to your liver. This triggers an internal release of bile and toxins from your liver. Now, here comes the 2 cups of coffee liquid. The 2 cups are more than enough to accomplish this task. You see, most of the electrolytes that make it to your large intestine during the digestive process are absorbed back into the bloodstream in the part of your large intestine which is furthest from your rectum. Herein lies the danger. If you use more than 2 cups, then the enema liquid might possibly go deeper into the large intestine and can flush out the electrolytes before they have a chance to be reabsorbed. This is not what we want. Coffee enemas are recommended to be done often, and as a result, doing a deeper enema every now and then is all right, but several times a week for one is not, because of the risk of flushing out too many electrolytes. By using only 2 cups, we stay in the safe zone. Also keep in mind that using more than 2 cups on a regular basis has been shown to stretch out the colon as well as possibly strip the protective mucosal layer in the large intestines beyond what is considered reasonable. So stick with 2 cups and be very, very, very wary of and rarely go beyond that amount. Next question. I think I best do a water enema before the coffee enema. Is that all right, and how much water should I use? Yes, it's perfectly fine to do a water enema before a coffee enema. You don't have to unless you want to. It's not mandatory. It's up to you. Water enemas are use up to 4 cups of room temperature filtered water. Next question. Remind me what it means if I feel bloated after a coffee enema. Bloating is normal, and you shouldn't be surprised if it happens. The reason I say that is because whether through an enema or during a normal bowel movement, not all your fecal matter comes out. So don't expect to have a fully empty colon after an enema. Sometimes you'll need to do another coffee enema right after the first one to reduce the bloating. Now, this is not absolutely necessary, though, as the bloating is harmless and can reduce on its own. Remember, if you feel bloated after an enema, then it could be the coffee fluid you put in your colon. Again, don't worry, because your body should absorb the leftover liquid, or it will come out later when you go to the bathroom next. And I've also found people reporting that the enema has created a healing process in their gut. Anything to do with healing internally usually means there's going to be gas that is created. And again, another reason not to worry, because gas can create that bloating, right? So don't worry. And if there's any major issues, then always consult a professional. Next question. What quality of coffee is best to use? Regular caffeinated coffee is best. Don't get fancy. No decaf, no flavored, no instant. You're looking for ideally, you don't have to, but ideally organic. If you can, coffee that is already ground is best. Stick to a medium grind or fine grind, but no espresso grind. You can buy coffee already ground, usually the easiest option, or grind it yourself if you have to. South America, Colombia, dark roast seem to stand out as most recommended. Look at the coffee label to be certain. The most common sold is medium, so even if nothing is mentioned on the label about the type of roast, it's probably medium. And again, I've got a website listed in the description of this video that you can browse through coffee that's used for enemas and just buy something online. Next question. I forgot to clear the hose before doing my enema and air went inside me. Am I okay? There is no need to be alarmed if you get air in the colon while doing an enema. Remember that we all naturally pass gas. A little air in your colon will come out on its own. There are a few ways air can slip in your colon. Chances are you'll need to watch carefully when you're prepping the hose before you do the enema. Ensure the air has been cleared out of it, as having air in your colon, particularly if having air in your colon bothers you. If it doesn't, then whatever. If it does, more than likely the culprit is the air in the hose before you do your enema. Next question. I have leftover coffee. Can I ever just use that? It's okay to use old coffee as long as it's not been contaminated, exposed to anything that's questionable materials, like saliva or something like that. It's best to keep it properly sealed and stored, though, not coffee that is over 5 days old, even if it's been in the fridge. If you are storing the coffee longer than 1 day, then put it in the fridge, make sure it's sealed, and make sure you know how long it's been in there for. Next question. Okay, how much coffee do I use for an enema? Well, again, the golden bracket is between a 1/4 teaspoon and up to 2 to 3 tablespoons. Start with a 1/4 teaspoon of coffee grinds. Always start low, work your way up. You'll be using between 2 to 4 cups of coffee liquid in your enema container. You start with 2 cups, okay? And it's best to stay. 4, I'd just stay with 2. 2 is the safe area. You're going beyond that. Like we mentioned before in a previous question, you don't want to have the liquid go too far into your large intestines. And when you start to get up into the higher cup amounts, then there's a greater chance of that. Now remember that coffee enemas aid with detoxifying your body, and coffee plays a role in that. So watch the level of grinds that you use. Cut back or add more depending upon how you feel a day after your first coffee enema, or after you have increased the dose. Let your body tell you what it can and cannot handle. When someone is starting out, I recommend starting with a lower amount of coffee. Then and only then, if you don't experience strong detox reactions within the next day, yes, 1 full day, you can increase the amount of coffee for the next enema. Be patient as you progress towards 2 to 3 tablespoons in, again, 2 to 4 cups of water, but I would stay with 2. Try and stay in the 2 zone cups of water. Next question. Is it all right to use flavored coffee for an enema? I touched on that just a second ago. No, plain coffee, organic is best, caffeinated. Stick with that. Next question. What duration of time should I hold the coffee in me before going to the toilet? The sweet spot is 15 minutes before you go to the toilet. Let's face it, if you have to go sooner, you have to go sooner. Holding a coffee enema for at least 3 to 5 is the minimum for reasonable effect, since it takes about that time for things to be filtered through the liver. As I've said many times before, and will in the future, the more you do, the easier it becomes. The easier it becomes, the longer you can hold the enema. Now, I don't recommend going beyond 30 minutes. In the event that you do hold it longer than 30 minutes, perhaps you fell asleep, don't panic. The water from the coffee liquid will more than likely be absorbed through the colon into the body to be used. See, the colon is designed to absorb water. So as for the rest of the coffee left in your colon, it will be removed when you have your next bowel movement or your next enema. Next question. What is the suggested lubricant to use for the enema insertion tip? Natural oils like olive oil, coconut oil, Vaseline. Lubricating both enema insertion tip and your anus is also recommended to help with making the process easier. Next question. I'm having a tough time holding the enema. Is that a problem? Well, practice makes perfect. It's an old adage that has application here too. Don't worry if you can't hold in the enema for a long enough duration. Over time you'll get better, but in the meantime there are some things you can try to help with your urge to release. When you feel the urge, massage your abdomen and breathe deeply. You can also try to adjust the position of your body. You can also do a water enema first, followed by your coffee enema. Lastly, you can lower the total liquid amount from 2 cups to 1 cup, but use the same amount of coffee grinds as you would for 2 cups. Again, over time you'll get better at holding the enema. So don't worry, but that should be enough for you. There's just enough suggestions there, tips of what you can try to adjust to help with holding longer. Thanks for watching. That's it. Those are the top questions that I've seen and answered. I appreciate you watching. If this has been helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to share this information. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you washing yourself from the inside out. That's good too. But I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I wish you the very best in your journey to better health.